When I finally go to heaven, I get to talk to God. I'm going to say, why did you let all these people think I was so crazy? And God is going to say, well, it was a camouflage. I was protecting you.
Kanye West has always been a polarizing figure, known for his bold statements and unconventional behavior, which often leads people to label him as crazy. However, much of this could stem from his dramatic way of making a point and his refusal to be swayed by others' opinions. Kanye West is an artist who constantly pushes boundaries, both musically and culturally. His unique personality combined with his outspokenness often makes his views seem controversial, but he's also a deeply creative person, known for blending genres, experimenting with fashion, and expressing strong opinions on art, culture, and society. It's also possible that his public persona is misunderstood due to how he communicates. He has been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which could affect how his thoughts come across to the public. He has mentioned that his condition leads to periods of extreme highs and lows, which might explain some of his erratic behavior. But when given the chance to articulate his ideas through music or writing, Kanye has shown immense talent in conveying complex emotions and societal critiques. The distinction between how he speaks and how he writes or creates is something a lot of fans and observers notice. His music, particularly in albums like And often shows depth and reflection that might be harder to see in his off-the-cuff public statements. Kanye West has indeed made significant strides in elevating Black culture and integrating it into the mainstream far beyond simply being a famous Black individual. His influence spans multiple domains, including music, fashion, and even social and political conversations. His approach often challenges conventional norms, which has led to both criticism and admiration. One of Kanye's major contributions to the Black community is his role in reshaping how Black artists and creators are viewed in the broader cultural landscape. He doesn't just operate within the confines of hip-hop or R&B, genres historically associated with Black musicians, but has crossed over into areas like electronic music, pop, and high fashion, which traditionally had less Black representation. By doing this, he demonstrates that Black artists are not confined to a particular genre or stereotype. They can thrive in any space. In the fashion world, Kanye disrupted the industry with his Yeezy brand, collaborating with major players like Adidas and Gap. His success in a predominantly white, European-dominated industry was a statement in itself. He has often spoken about wanting more representation for Black designers and creators at the highest levels of fashion and luxury. His ability to position himself as a central figure in fashion culture reflects his effort to ensure that Black creativity is valued and celebrated in every corner of society. In music, Kanye helped redefine the sound of hip-hop and made it more eclectic and universally accessible. He experimented with different production styles, mixing soul, gospel, classical music, and electronic elements, which not only made his sound unique, but also helped elevate hip-hop to a more global and mainstream space. Albums like The College Dropout, Late Registration, and Graduation had immense cross-cultural appeal, reaching audiences beyond just rap or Black communities. Kanye also uses his platform to address issues important to the Black community, from systemic racism to economic empowerment. While his methods and words may sometimes come off as controversial, his underlying goal seems to be a desire to uplift and amplify Black voices in areas where they've been historically underrepresented. Here are some examples from Kanye West's interviews where he speaks about his vision for uplifting the Black community and making it more mainstream. The Breakfast Club, 2015. Influence on Black culture and business. In this interview with The Breakfast Club, Kanye talked about how he wanted to change the way Black people were perceived in business and fashion. He emphasized his desire to break free from the box that society often puts Black artists and creators in. He wanted to expand his influence beyond just music and into spaces that have been historically closed off to Black individuals, like high fashion. I was speaking to Oprah 2 days ago. We're in a Renaissance period. We're in a place where people can really express themselves in a different way, and I'm shaking up the system. It's a class system, it's a race system, and it's what people want to see, creativity and excellence from Black people. Kanye's point here was that his success in fashion wasn't just about him. He wanted to be a trailblazer for others in the Black community to see that they could succeed in any industry, not just the traditional paths of music or sports. His message was about pushing boundaries and making sure the next generation of Black creators had more opportunities to succeed at the highest levels. BBC Radio 1 with Zane Lowe, 2013, Breaking Barriers in Fashion. Kanye has often expressed frustration about how difficult it has been for him, as a black man, to break into the high-end fashion world. During this interview with Zane Lowe, he made it clear that his ambitions in fashion were not just about personal success, but about opening doors for black creators who were often left out of the conversation. I showed people that you can do things without following the rules. You can be fearless, you can be successful. They tried to marginalize me, they tried to make me the rapper, but I'm bigger than a genre. I'm not just a musician, I'm an innovator. I'm trying to make space for us to create at the highest level. Kanye was highlighting how the system often works to limit the potential of black artists, boxing them into certain roles. By becoming successful in fashion, he wanted to challenge that narrative and show that black creators can excel in all forms of art and business, not just the ones they are traditionally associated with. Charlemagne the God interview, 2018, Economic Empowerment for Black Communities. Kanye's 2018 interview with Charlemagne the God was one where he delved into economic empowerment, particularly for the black community. He spoke about how he wanted to shift the conversation from fame to ownership and wealth building, showing black people that they needed to own their work and create their own futures. If you think about the infrastructure of America, it's like a pyramid, and the people who work at the bottom are holding up the wealth of the 1% at the top. I'm saying we need to own more of what we create. Why are we just artists? Why are we just the talent? Why don't we own our stuff? Kanye was emphasizing that black artists often generate massive amounts of revenue for industries like music and fashion, but rarely get to own the actual product. He wanted to shift the power dynamic so that black creators could maintain ownership of their work and build generational wealth. On Joe Rogan's podcast, Kanye discussed his broader ambitions, not just for his career, but for reshaping the future of America. He talked about his desire to build infrastructure, cities, and systems that could benefit the black community and other marginalized groups. I want to create cities. I want to create cities that help people, that are for the future. Black people and all people, we've been treated like we're less than, like we don't deserve nice things, like we don't deserve abundance. I want to create that abundance for our people. Here, Kanye's vision expanded beyond music and fashion to building infrastructure and systems that could provide long-term benefits for black people. He often speaks about his desire to build a new reality, one where black people aren't just participants, but leaders and creators of the future. In his interview with Forbes, Kanye discussed his economic vision for the black community, focusing on creating businesses that generate wealth across generations, not just for a single artist or individual. He wanted to shift the focus from short-term success to long-term prosperity. It's about creating something sustainable, something that's not just for me, but for future generations. I'm thinking about my children's children. I'm thinking about black ownership and the black future. We've been consumers for too long. Now it's time to own. This idea of generational wealth is something Kanye has spoken about frequently. He believes that the key to breaking cycles of poverty and inequality is for black people to not just participate in industries, but to own and control them, ensuring that wealth can be passed down and maintained. David Letterman's My Next Guest Needs No Introduction, 2019, Empowering the Next Generation. In his conversation with David Letterman, Kanye shared his thoughts on how he sees his role as a leader and mentor to the next generation of black creators. He often framed his own struggles as part of a larger mission to empower future black artists, musicians, and business people. I'm trying to open doors for the next Ye, the next person who comes up with ideas, who wants to change the world, who wants to innovate. I don't just want to make things for now, I want to create opportunities for the next generation. Here, Kanye was focusing on his legacy and how he wants to make sure that his influence isn't limited to his own success, but creates opportunities for those who come after him. He often talks about how difficult it was for him to break into industries like fashion, and how he wants to make sure that others don't face the same barriers. These examples show Kanye's consistent focus on breaking down barriers for the black community, shifting the focus from being just a participant to being an owner, creator, and innovator. His desire to expand black representation and success into areas like fashion, business, and politics reflects his broader mission to make the black community truly mainstream across multiple industries. Kanye West's journey reflects a relentless drive to push boundaries, not just for himself, but for the Black community at large. His outspoken nature and dramatic way of proving points have led to a perception of him as controversial. But beneath the surface lies a clear mission: to break down barriers and ensure that Black voices are not only heard, but also positioned in places of power and ownership. Whether through his music, fashion ventures, or business endeavors, Kanye consistently challenges societal norms and expectations, aiming to elevate Black culture into the mainstream in a way that transcends fame. He envisions a future where Black people are not just participants in industries, but leaders, creators, and owners who build generational wealth and drive lasting change. While his methods may at times be unconventional, his impact in pushing for greater representation and economic empowerment is undeniable. Through his work, Kanye continues to inspire others to think beyond the limitations imposed by society, proving that true progress comes from breaking the mold and daring to be different. This video presents a specific viewpoint on Kanye West's contributions. Opinions about Kanye and his impact vary greatly depending on who you ask, as he is a complex and polarizing figure. Kanye West is a multifaceted figure, influencing music, fashion, business, and culture, while also stirring debate with his unpredictable public statements and actions. What's your take? Do you see him as a visionary pushing boundaries, or do you think his methods overshadow his message? How do you think Kanye's impact has shaped the way we view Black creativity and ownership in mainstream spaces? Thanks for watching.